Gonna get started.
Yeah, cool. I've lost you. Where are you? Okay, there you are.
Oh, okay. So, welcome. My name is Jocelyn Piirainen, and I am the associate curator of Inuit art. I just forgot. Yeah, so I'm the associate curator of Inuit art at the Winnipeg Art Gallery in Qaumajuq. And this program today is part of the RBC and WAG INUA virtual sessions, connecting you with Qaumajuq's inaugural exhibition, INUA, no matter where you are in the world. So watch for some monthly programming with different artists and curators at wag.ca/INUA online. So yeah, today I am so happy to be here with here virtually with Niap. Niap is a wonderful multidisciplinary artist, and so many different things going on with you, not just a carver, a singer, painter, but you've also actually acted.
Yeah, I did some acting as well. Yeah.
And you are normally based in Montreal, but today you are actually joining us from Finland.
Yeah, I'm in Helsinki, Finland.
Oh my!
I have 10 days left to this artist residency, initiated by Goethe, the Institute Goethe from Germany. It was a circumpolar residency where a lot of circumpolar northern artists kind of are doing like this relay residency. So someone from Norway went to Nunavik, me going to Finland. I was supposed to go to Yakutsk, Russia, but because of COVID, it wasn't very safe. So I decided to extend my stay here in Finland. So I did 1 month in a small community called Malaks at the Malakta Artist Center. And now I'm doing my last 2 weeks here. I'm going to be doing an artist talk at the Baltic Circle Performance Festival, International Performance Festival. And then I have some meetings with some gallerists and curators and lots of PR work for the last 2 weeks while I'm here. But I'm enjoying it. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah. And is this your first time this is your first time. It must be your first time in Finland. So
my first time in Finland, yes. But I've done a few artist residencies before. I've done 2 with the cruise. I have a blank because I'm so nervous. Arctic, is it? Voyons. I want to say Arctic exhibition, but that's not it at all. Somebody help me! Oh my goodness. So I mean, I've done a residency in Paris at the Beaux-Arts de Paris. This was a residency initiated by ABADAC, Cultural Institute, doing kind of like a collab with the Musée des Beaux-Arts and de Paris and the École Nationale Supérieure des Beaux-Arts de Paris. And then there's the Canadian. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna remember. I feel so bad because I love this cruise. So yes, I've done 2 with this cruise. We went from, I have had a chance to see Greenland and Nunavut, and I'm supposed to be going back next summer. And I really need to remember the name of this cruise. It's so embarrassing.
No, that's okay. I'm sure you'll remember it. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so yeah, you're joining us from Finland, and you are one of the artists that is included in the inaugural show INUA, and your work behind me.
Yeah.
Behind me also virtually is a really beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm gonna try to say it. I'm gonna try to say the name. Katayak Sivalat.
Katajaw Sivalat.
Okay, close. Oh, kind of close.
Katajaw Sivalat is kind of because Katajanak is throat singing. Sounds of throat singing, I guess it would translate to. And do you want me to talk a little bit about
yeah, tell me more about it, and this the idea behind it, and more just.
So the idea came long before the opportunity to make it. I think it was like about a few years, maybe 3-4 years, something. I had this idea when throat singing was actually named the first intangible heritage of Quebec to be protected and promoted. And I thought it was, like a strange thing to have intangible heritage. And it got me thinking, you know what, I did my first carving workshop, and I decided to start making things that were intangible and bring it to tangible form. So I had done, carvings of northern lights and the wind and snowstorms. And later on, when I heard that the throat singing was, this intangible heritage, and I thought, what would it look like in tangible form, and what would it look like if throat singing, or the element of throat singing, would work through the stone, and what would it look like? So that was the idea behind it. So I have 3 stones here, and they represent each 3 songs. There's the green stone. This is all Brazilian soapstone, and I was really happy because I didn't know what it was going to look like. I kind of had an idea, but when I went to the stone shop and I saw 3 colors, it made me so happy. Brazilian soapstone. So the green is to represent Kuvaluk, the water, the throat song of the water. Anore, the middle one, the pink stone, because for some reason, I don't know why, when I think of spring wind, I think of pink. And the white stone is to represent Himmerolopik, the song that represents the story of a dog with dog sled. So it was to kind of see what would throat singing look like in a tangible form. And then it got me thinking, what does throat singing sound like? And does it really, because it is an imitation of nature. And I thought, does it really sound similar to the element it imitates? So I recorded throat singing, and then I recorded sounds of the nature the songs imitated, and I made them live together. And so through this, I made these stones live together. Mm-hmm. It's a very complex, I can talk about it longer. It's a very complex installation piece. I was very happy with it. And the more I was working, the more detailed the concept was becoming. In each stone, there's holes, 2 holes that link together. And these represent the throat of these 2 women who sing and make the sound come alive. And they're suspended from the ceiling. So it gives this effect of floating and weightlessness, just like voice and sound. And that was the idea behind that. And so, yeah, I imagine what the element would look like if it had manipulated the stone, and what how would it change the stone if it had material form. So this is the idea.
And was it your first time carving?
This was not my first time carving. The first time I did carve, I had done very odd, well, to a lot of people, they were kind of odd because I don't know why I wanted to carve northern lights, and I wanted to carve storm and snowstorm, because these intangible things, I thought it would be a very nice abstract shape and abstract carving. And it's funny because when I showed these carvings I had made, my first time carving, showing them to family members or people I know, my brothers mostly told me like, oh, why don't you just make a polar bear? You know, why do you have to make it so complicated? And, you know, whatever, I because that's how my mind works. And I was happy with the first carvings I had done. And I had very good teachers. And then these pieces came up. It's, I've seen it so clearly in my head, and I wanted it like such a specific way. And then when I saw them all hanging at the Oboro Center, I had this really good feeling. I kind of had to sit down because it looked exactly like how I wanted it to look, and I was so very happy.
And so my kind of first introduction into you know, your practice and your work was through a short film called The Fifth Region. And that's a really great film as well. And I believe, if I remember correctly, you were working on these at the time during the filming. Yeah,
I was actually, it's Alia Hussein, who you know, did this documentary about urban Inuit. That's why, you know, the fifth region for Inuit, and it was a, you know, questioning what does it mean to be Inuk, and living in the city, does that kind of take away from your indigeneity? And it was kind of questioning all these like asking all these hard questions. And yeah, I was part of that, and I was actually working on these. It was kind of surreal, because in the beginning you see me working on them, and at the end of the film you see them kind of exhibited, which was kind of cool, you know.
It's, yeah, and you know, maybe tell me more about your experience too with that film, and then kind of maybe how you got more into acting as well, because
it's such for real, because I mean, my career has been so far kind of a series of, you know, I do this, and then I get contacts with this person, then I do this, and then this person finds me through that, and then it kind of just grows. So, you know, I had decided I was going to go to school into art a little later in my life. I was 26 when I decided to, 27, I think, maybe even, I don't even know anymore. 2014. Yeah, I think I was 29, a little bit late. And so I started, you know, doing these homeworks and getting my name out there. And then I was approached by someone who worked for Avatek asking me if I was interested in being part of this film. And then, you know, I accepted because I thought it was a, you know, very interesting question, and something that I struggle with a lot is like, am I Inuk enough? Living in the city and being away from home so long, and having not learned to sew, and not having, you know, these very traditional skills that, you know, a young Inuk woman would learn. I thought it was very interesting and very important question. You know, where a lot of my friends and family learned how to sew and speak fluently Inuktitut, and, you know, go hunting and camping. I learned how to travel by bus, and how to, you know, go to, you know, write essays, and, you know, go to the theaters, and, you know, I have a different set of skills that I guess developed on my own. And from my own interests. So I found these questions very interesting and very important. So I accepted the role. And then from there, I think also from the fact that I have a mural at the Ontario Musée de la Nature, nature, what is it? Musée de la Nature in English is
the Nature Museum in Ottawa.
Yeah. Yes. From there, somebody kind of approached me if I wanted to be part of this, and then that got me to do that, and then I got to do these sculptures, and from there, because this is like kind of the first time I did something as big with sound, because I have recent, like before that I worked with sound with, you know, my paintings but nothing so big. And I think this is the first time I had such a big installation in a very nice place at Oboro Center, where, you know, there was more visibility. And through there, someone contacted me if I wanted to be part of this theater show. And I was supposed to be the assistant set designer, and we weren't too sure what my role would be. And we had a very unexpected setting. It was a house with just a window, and the actions you would see were behind the window. So we weren't too sure if the window was big enough or if it was, you know, too different. So I kind of went on stage to kind of show them what it would look like. And so I did a fake, oh yeah, call me later, kind of like acting skit, just kind of improv. And the director was like, wow, she's so engaged. Like, and then she asked me if I wanted to be the actress, which I denied. And then I told her, if 1 week goes by and you still haven't found anybody, then I'll do it. But I think she kind of stopped looking. I think she stopped looking for an actress. And from there, I did this TV series. Somebody had seen me on stage, asked me to go audition for this TV series. I did, and unexpectedly got chosen as the main actress. So it's kind of long story, but it's my career has been through small projects. It just kind of keeps growing, and I'm meeting people, and people see me through this and contact me because they saw this, and like word of mouth kind of thing. It's kind of insane.
Well, that's great though.
Because I'm very grateful. And you know, it's while I was carving these, while I was carving them, I would imagine and envision them in a really nice setting, you know, in a nice exhibition space. And I was imagining somebody coming, purchasing them. And I was envisioning a beautiful space. And, you know, I was just so excited when the Musée des Beaux-Arts contacted me asking to acquire them. It was very unexpected, but I did my best for them to kind of fit in a nice space. So I was very grateful.
Mm-hmm. So
everybody who joined, hi everybody. Thanks for joining. I tend to talk a lot.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, I just hope that, you know, my story is not too kind of anecdotic. I just want to be clear. I hope it's clear enough.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
well, I realized either I didn't really, you know, go into any of your like biography and your background. So maybe talk about yourself. Yeah, how you did get into being an artist and you know, all that, where you're from, because your family, your family's. I'll let you talk.
It's a weird, not a weird story, but it's kind of a cheesy, super happy ending thing. It's very young. I would always want to express myself. My mother's very artistic. She's the kind of woman who could take anything and make it into, you know, a beautiful centerpiece at a table, or she was always the extra detail for wrapping gifts and setting the table. And I kind of got that artistic side from her. When I was young, she used to oil paint, and I used to try to eat the paint. I don't know. I didn't understand how the paints worked, but I started at a very young age wanting to create and wanting to express myself through art. And very young, I remember, you know, hearing for the first time the sound of a piano, and I said, that's it, I'm going to be a pianist. I want a grand piano, and this is what I'm going to do. But living in Qaumajuq, there's not much resources, you know. And then I remember so clearly, so vividly seeing somebody dance on stage. She had a very flowy white dress, and I always tell the story. I always, you know, repeat it, but it's a part of, you know, my story. And I remember very vividly seeing this woman with this very flowy dress on stage with big, long white curtains and this blue light. And she was, you know, dancing this beautiful contemporary dance. And I said, that's it, I want to be a dancer. So, but again, I didn't have anybody to teach me. And what I had was my mom, who would teach me kind of how to paint, and I had the pen and paper. So I started drawing very early age. And I used to get frustrated because I think I didn't have the, you know, as a young child, you don't have the motricity, the motor skills to kind of come up with exactly how I saw it. I couldn't come up with it, and I was very frustrated. But yeah, I was always very expressive and always very creative, and I had a big imagination. And young, I had told my grade 4 teacher that I was going to be an artist and I was going to travel the world. That was my master plan. That, and also being a farmer. I was going to be a farmer. I wanted to be a farmer and have chickens and cows. And my whole master plan was to draw my chickens and my cows and travel the world to show people my animals. It was a good plan. And so, yeah, but, you know, growing up, you kind of put that aside and you start thinking serious. I want to be a teacher. But something kind of, you know, heavy happened in my life at a point where I kind of questioned like what it is that I want to do now. What have I been pushing aside? What have I been ignoring? What's really the desire I want, you know, like at this very moment? And it always came back to art. It always came back to, I would like to take art classes. I would like to take drawing classes. And I made the big decision to kind of stop everything and then pursue this desire to create. So then I went to school in visual arts. And from there, it just kind of exploded. It's so insane. I shared things that I've done on Facebook, you know, my social media. And then it went from, you know, doing small contract here, small contract there, to doing bigger contracts, to doing, you know, acquiring some of my works and some commission work. And then it's just been really insane. I have now a gallery that represents me, Feely Fine Arts in Toronto. I have had the chance to be on the Musée des Beaux-Arts, I mean the École des Beaux-Arts. I've had a chance to be here in Finland, and the Adventure Canada cruise is the name of the cruise. Adventure Canada twice. I've had exhibition in Vancouver at the Marion Scott Galleries. And I've had 2 solo shows so far with Pat Feely, and all of these solo shows that I've had have been sold out, which is, you know, I'm so grateful. I have work right now in Alaska at the Anchorage Museum for a year exhibition. I have work at I don't even know anymore. It's just been so insane. And that's really from like unexpected word of mouth kind of, you know, I did this for this person, that showed this person, that asked me for this. And then from there it kind of, and I have a mural at the Musée de Nature in Ontario, which was I didn't know it was a national competition. I didn't realize it was a big, and I just kind of joined. I was like, oh, well, you know, I'll just submit something and then we'll see. And yeah, it's just been kind of, I take opportunities that I find interesting and I apply to them, and I take a chance, and I figure the worst thing that could happen is that I get a no. And so far, I had the chance to go to the Toronto Art Fair with Inuit Art Foundation. I've won the Virginia J. Watt Award, you know, and I look up to a lot of people, and I hope to one day kind of push my art further. So far, I'm in such a short time. It's funny because while I was here, somebody asked me, oh, how long have you been, you know, working with your art? And I said, oh, it's been about 6 years. I said 2 years in school, and then, you know, 2 years in school, and then 1 year, 1.5 years in university. And now I've been about 2 years and a half by myself, representing myself. He goes, oh, we usually don't count school as part of your career. You usually start counting your career like after school. Then I said, well, then in that case, I've been doing this for 2.5 years. And all of this has happened in such a short time. It's kind of scary. It's very scary. I was I was recently accepted to do residency at the McCord Museum as well. I'll be working with Inuit artifacts and come up with my own take on, you know, be inspired by these artifacts and come up with something contemporary. It's just,
that sounds great.
It's just insane. And, you know, all of this in such a short period of time. I'm so forever grateful and lucky that, you know, that I'm able to live an artistic and creative life. It's not given to everybody, and, you know, but I work hard, and I just try to let go of the fear of being wrong. Like, who said that? It was a quote that I found before I went to school. To live a creative life, one must lose the fear of being wrong. Now, I can't remember who wrote that, but I wrote that in everything, in all of my sketchbooks, in my first page of my, you know, when you open your cell and you kind of get a message. That was my welcoming message. And I tried to follow my feeling, and so far so good.
We have a question here too in the chat, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit too. Now, you know, now that we're talking about, you know, your schoolwork and your inspirations, but yeah, do you have any mentors that you look up to? In different
when I went to the first time I ever carved, I was in Aupaluk. It was a 2-week carving workshop. There was Vicky Gray from my community who was teaching me, you know, how to use these big scary tools. I remember the first time I started carving, I thought to myself, what am I doing here? This is insane. These are like the makitas and the, you know, the cutters. And I was like, wow, I'm so clumsy. I'm gonna cut my fingers off or something. I was a bit afraid, but Victoria Gray kind of worked me through it. And also, what's his name? Ule, Mark Dirtiluk from WAG-Qaumajuq, also a amazing carver. So he helped me for these first times, you know, carving, my first ever time carving with stone. And when I went to L'École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, I was so forever fortunate to be traveling with Matusi Yetuk. Matusi Yetuk is somebody that I forever look up to. I think he's so very talented. His mind works in such amazing ways. And, you know, it's all these teachings that he gave me, not technical teachings, but, you know, how to represent feeling, how to through, you know, material form. So yeah, he was very much my mentor in that. I remember I was in Paris, I carved an owl because the song kept playing in my head, you know, the legend why the owl is white and full of dots and why the raven is black. That song. While I was in France the first 2 weeks, I kept singing that song, and I figured I'll just, you know, try to carve an owl. And I had carved this owl, and I had only 2 eyes. I had set only 2 eyes, and I asked Matthias, I said, "What do you think?" And he says, "How is your bird going to eat? He doesn't have a beak. He doesn't have a mouth. He's going to be hungry. He's not going to be very happy." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a very cool teaching." So I added, you know, the beak. And yeah, his ways of seeing his carvings and the way he goes about his process of having a story and trying to express it in the material form. So I was, so Victoria Gray from Qaumajuq, Matusi Yetuk from Ivuyivik, thanks Uli, and also Mark Dichtiluk from Wakeham Bay are people who helped me very much in carving.
And any others, like you know, throughout your painting, are there? Yeah,
there's so many. There's so many people I look up to, but you know, I'm not someone who tries to kind of, I don't know how to explain it. When I did go to school, I had this like such a big need and a big desire to create and just to let it out. So in my paintings and in my acrylic paintings and so on, I didn't really have anybody that I kind of looked up to. But there are techniques that I have found that I thought interesting, and I kind of applied to my own learning in school and everything. But lately I've been very much, you know, keeping close what Lakuluk has been doing, Lakuluk Williamson Bathory, which is insane. And also there's a series of tattoo paintings, drawings that I had done after watching the film by Alethea, please help me with her last name.
Arnakuk.
Yes, with Dunit retracing the lines of Inuit tattoos. You know, these are subjects and themes that I'm experimenting, and after I see, you know, people talking about it, so on. But for real, I've been. Sorry, my mom's asking for the keys. I think they're my sweater. I think. Sorry, my mom's here with me in Finland, and she needs the house keys. I don't remember where I put them. But yeah, I kind of, my ideas, they come when I walk. When I'm walking and I see something, I say, wow, that would be an amazing painting, or an amazing carving, or I see this something like this in plaster, or I see something like this in watercolor. My ideas sometimes come in dreams. I have a poem that came to me in a dream after working, you know, in Qaumajuq. I was with Olivia Aiki, all of my sister-in-laws. So Olivia Aiki, Florence Boulet, and we were like a few friends that would kind of gather once a week and kind of read poetry that we liked. And we were trying to start this thing in Qaumajuq, which was like open mic night, kind of like, you know, in someone's house every week. And I had woken up at like 5 a.m. to this poem that was in French about my name, where my name comes from. And I ran and I just wrote it down before I missed any words. And yeah, so sometimes these ideas come to me in dreams, and where the inspiration is always my culture. But like in particular, I don't want to say that I don't look at anybody's work, but I don't know, these ideas come to me like very clearly in images. It's weird.
No, that sounds, that sounds really intuitive.
Yeah, I try. I try.
Oh, you do more than try.
Thank you so much. I'm, I just have sometimes, I don't know, they have to come out. These ideas that I get, they have to come out. Like right now, I'm working on this it's very textile beadwork with lots of leather and felt, and it's going to be very textural. And this is like inspired by Julie Grenier's earrings that she makes, and Beatrice Deer, the parkas that she makes. I find them like so amazing. But a lot of traditional beading and sewing and these artifacts that I've seen at the McCord Museum. So yeah, my inspiration, my ideas come, or the mentors I have or people I look up to are very everywhere, like very much everywhere.
We have another question here too. Yeah, your watercolors, they have this connection. They actually have a connection to the land, to Nunavik. Yeah, tell us more about that and how that started for you, like including.
Yeah, that was a really cool series. I really liked it. The idea started. I went fishing with my brothers. We went to go check our nets. There were 2 boats, and it was such a beautiful day. The sky was blue, the trees were super green, like dark green, and the water was like almost black. It was such a beautiful day. And, like as a weirdo, instead of like taking a picture to kind of capture the memory, I wanted to take home something, and I decided to take home water. And I put the mason jar kind of like, I picked up some water. My brothers yelled, "Don't drink that! Don't drink that!" And I said, I won't drink it. He's like, "What are you gonna do with it?" I was like, "I don't know. I just want to keep it." So I brought it home, and when I got home, I put it on my table, and whatever, a few days passed, and sitting down, I looked at the water, and I thought, what am I going to do with that? Why did I take that? And then I noticed that I had put it down beside my watercolors that were on the table. I had papers out, pencils out. And I said, oh, I can maybe try to paint with it, see what's going to happen. And when I did, I thought, wow, the colors are so dark, like so much darker, and it seemed to move differently. Some places the watercolor just like was heavy and would sink to the bottom. Some places it would just move, be more fluid, but I thought it was very different, and the colors stayed very saturated, and I thought that's probably just in my head. So I tried it with tap water, and I was right. It was more saturated colors. It was deeper colors, and I think like it gave a different hue to the paint. And I decided to do the landscape that I had seen that day with that water. And that's how the series started. It started off with just a blot of color, and then I'd add with pen these drawings. And then as time kind of went forward, it started becoming more abstract. And I'm the type of I'm a type of artist. I don't know if other artists do this, but probably I work in series. I have this like very excited feeling of something, of this idea that I see in multiples. And I see it like many versions of this thing. And I think like, wow, I'm so excited to do this. So I'll work on something until the feeling is away, till the feeling is gone. And the river series is one that lasted really the longest. I have at least like 40, 50 out there. And the last one I tried to do, it didn't quite work. I had seen it compared to the first one that I did, the very first one I did, and it wasn't quite the same. So I think that series is over. I think I won't be doing any more of those, which is sad because I have a ton of water from a ton of places in my at my house. You know, we'll see. Maybe with time I'll want to kind of, you know, go back to it. But that was a very, very fun series. And it's crazy because I would do these paintings and I very loosely painted them. I made the water kind of move on its own. And sometimes I was very surprised, like these colors that would come out. Some colors, like I would put all these colors on the palette, and sometimes this, you know, red would show up like an immense color. Sometimes I'd add red to my palette and then no red would appear in my painting. There, I think Olivia is showing one of my paintings because she bought, I don't know if you guys see that in her camera. That's my sister-in-law, Olivia. I don't know if you see her on top sharing a video. So yeah, it was one of the longest series, but you know, I think it's over, which is sad.
Well, maybe you'll come back to it, you know, who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll come back to it. I'm full of ideas right now. I'm just gonna keep going forward with these ideas that I have. I in Finland, looking at the art that's happening here is so inspiring. I'm like writing things down and having discussions with artists, kind of pops ideas in my head as we're talking. I'm writing things down, and when I get home, I plan on, after this series I'm working on right now, I plan on, you know, going full ahead with these ideas that I got. I just saw Jennifer Gibson's comment. Thank you so much. Everybody's so sweet.
Yeah. So if there are any other questions that people may have, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll be wrapping this up a little bit in a few minutes here, and there's I don't know if you hear that. There's a little bit of banging going on here. But, yeah. So yeah. What else? What other plans do you have for the residency?
While I'm here, I plan on, there's the Baltic Circle festival happening. I'm going to go see a few performances. I bought tickets to go listen to the concert. It's called Contemporary Classical Minimalism. And it's a lot of piano. And to this day, I still think that piano is like the most ultimate beautiful sound in the world. Like the most beautiful instrument in the world is, since I was a very young girl, I love it. And I plan on going. I have the tickets to go see the Helsinki dance group do this super cool contemporary dance thing. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, I'm planning on visiting more galleries, more museums, kind of to see what's good, what's happening in Helsinki, in Finland, and be inspired by that. There's a lot of series that I really do want to work with. There's one in particular that I've been wanting to do for a long time. it's a darker series, and I'm very used to kind of talking about Inuit culture and the bright side of Inuit culture, and the I want to bring beauty into these practices that were shunned and made forced us to stop, and these things that were kind of taken away from us. I'm trying to celebrate their beauty again, like tattooing the land. But there's a series that I'd like to work on. It's like a darker series about my experience with mental health, and through my own lived experience, I'm hoping that I do touch other people who may have, who may suffer from mental health issues like I do, or who have struggled in the past with mental health issues. So I'm really wanting to work on this darker series that talks about trauma, intergenerational trauma, and how it affects me as a person, and us Inuit as a collective. And it's crazy because I met an artist from Yakutsk, Russia. And it was like we were sisters, and it was like we were cousins, and it was like we were mother, daughter, auntie. It was just so similar. And the stories that she had were the same. Colonial history, trauma, intergenerational trauma. I understood her so fast. We didn't even need to speak in length of what we've been through. We kind of just knew. We both kind of lived through this. And I think this is something that kind of touches a lot of Inuit. Yeah, I'm planning on working on this heavier series. It's hard though. There's one piece that I've done so far, and every time I try to start a second piece, I just can't go through with it. It's maybe a little bit too personal still, But I'd like to work with this amazing Inuit writer to come up with, a recueil de poème, poem. I don't know how you say it in English, but to illustrate these poems that she has. There's a bunch of things that I'd like to do. I feel like I don't have much time. I feel like I don't have enough time. I just want to get it all done, and if only it was that easy.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you seem pretty busy these days too, and I mean, but
yeah, I'm so very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and I keep saying this all the time. There's a very fine line between successful artist and misunderstood artist. That line is so fine. It's so fine. Mm-hmm. And it really is like a question of like timing, a question of, the things that I do now, if I did that like 50 years ago, it would have never worked. And if I do this in 50 years, it probably wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. So these questions that questions of, bringing back beauty and owning and affirming culture that we've lost, it's time to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And the response has been so positive, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah, and your work really fits within the theme too for INUA, for the inaugural exhibition too, of Inuit moving forward together. It is really about Inuit coming together and kind of maybe paving the way for the future, really. And that's
nice.
I think that's really.
Do that. Wow, thank you so much.
No,
Wow,
I really do believe, yeah, that you are, you're really inspiring. You're this big multidisciplinary artist, and
thank you so much.
mm,
There are so many talented people. I mean, Inuit, it's insane how artistic Inuit can be. And I just wish that they knew how good they are and how far they could go if they decided to, make a career out of this, instead of just kind of, selling as they go, make a carving, sell it. And this is unfortunately something that, Inuit kind of got used to with, the co-ops and all that. But, there's such like infinitely talented people like Inuit. When I went to, I want to say, Cape Dorset, a small community of 1,500 people, every second person was an artist, but not just an artist, but like very, very, very talented artist. And I feel like it's time for us to take space and, curate our own. And that's amazing what you're doing too, like say what we want to say rather than someone tell us what to make,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish I would have had the chance to come see the show and get inspired by other artists. But there's so many that I look up to. There's so many talent. We're so talented. We're so amazing. I'm always so surprised every time I see something like, Adina Applebaum, but with her ugly fish design and with her graphic art that she does, just so cool, so infinitely cool,
Yes.
And Geronimo with his music. I don't know if he calls himself Mad Eskimo anymore, but
not a whole lot.
I just find his music so, intense, and the graphic work that I have seen him do, I thought so amazing. And Duck Partridge. How many? There's so many. There's so many, and I'm so happy to be a part of this world.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, we have extended the show until the end of March.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully,
drive by.
Yes, hopefully you'll be able to come and visit it and see in person the exhibition and Qaumajuq as well.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna note that.
Yes.
I might just drive by Winnipeg. Just you never know. I'll make a little road trip out of it.
Yes. Well, if there aren't any other questions, we have time for maybe one more if anybody is really pressing for a question. But yeah, this has been.
I tend to talk so much that I kind of cover every angle. What do these texts say? I'm just looking at the messages. Really appreciate the opportunity to listen to the conversation. Niap, you mentioned your teachers in relation to carving, who were your mentors. Oh, we answered that.
It's been a really wonderful time to talk with you, and Koyanamik for taking the time as well.
Yeah, yeah, it is. What time is it here in Finland? We're like 7 hours in the future.
It's going on 9 o'clock there. Maybe.
There we go. Yeah. I'm touristing. My mom, I flew her here. I asked her because she's never traveled outside the country before, and I said, when do you say you want to show up? And I was so happy that she said yes. So today we did like some touristy stuff. We went to the Contemporary Art Museum here in Helsinki. Discovered amazing art by O.T. I don't know how to pronounce her name, Heisenkin or something. My favorite artist right now. So good and very inspiring. So I'd like to kind of try these techniques that I've seen, and hopefully I'll I'll continue having a platform to be able to do that.
I'm sure you will.
It's all good stuff, man. It's all good stuff.
Oh, amazing. Well, yes. Say hi to your mom again, and enjoy Finland the rest of your time there. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, cool.
All right. Well, yeah, and thank you to RBC as well.
Oh yes, cool. Yes, thank you, RBC.